Forget the majestic backdrop. This is all achievable at your place.
To make your garden even better.
You don't have to be a wine snob to know a good rack when you see it.
Best thing is you can pick them up for free.
Why not grow veggies so good you'll impress yourself?
I'm loving this.
In my work as a landscape designer, I get to create some large-scale projects, just like this one that was finished about 4 years ago. You may not have the space or the budget for a garden this size, but don't get overwhelmed. I'm going to zoom in on individual factors in this garden, and hopefully you can use it for inspo in your home. One of my favourite colours to use in our harsh Australian sun is this deep purple. Now, this is a Laura petalum, and I've kept it as a nice rounded shape. I've picked that purple up down in the ground cover with this ajuga. Another thing I love about the purple is it goes so well with the tapestry of greens we've got here. Now, this is an Indian hawthorn oriental pearl. It's almost impossible to kill. The only thing that will kill it is overwatering. Now, this is a nice rounded shape, but you can also get them in a hedge form in a variety called Snow Maiden. It's much more upright and well suited. When you're planting a garden bed, no matter how big or small it is, you need to think about what time of the year you really want to enjoy that space. This garden bed is predominantly spring. We've just finished the magnolias. The echium's about to come in, and the lavender is also doing its thing. But there's also plants in this bed that show off throughout the year. We've got convolvulus in summer. Tucked back in there's some salvias that come on in late summer, and then in autumn, we've got miscanthus grass too. But to tie it all together, I really like to use some structured shrubs. We've got some Morea and this big Eleagnus behind me. As well as the plants, you need to think about the hard materials you're going to use in your garden. This is a large-scale 1940s house, and there's existing sandstone, so it makes sense that I use the same stone on the entryway. We've got these fantastic pillars that really slow you down so you don't rush through the garden. You could do the same effect with timber. I've also used it on the paving through here to create the pathways. Now, these are 2 by 1 meters, so they're in scale with the size of the house, and they have a hand bevel around each one, again, to slow you down. The path and the pillars create a directional sight line throughout the garden, and it turns towards the entry of the house. To soften it, I've gone for really large shrubs like this echium. Now, this one gets about an hour's more sun from the ones over there. As you can see, it's just popped off into life. Now, I've got a little feature that I want to show you down here. Now, most people think formal gardens are a little bit structured and stuffy and they can't be fun. But we thought, why not do something interesting? So we found a monorail carriage and put it in the garden. Now, you're saying, where am I going to find a monorail carriage? And actually, you're not going to find one again. So you might want to do this with a caravan or maybe even a garden shed. This one we turned into a bar, if you will. We've got leather upholstery, a fridge, we've got tiled floors, we even put in brickwork. So, I think I might just help myself whilst I'm here. No, I'll show you a bit more first. No matter how big your garden is, it's really important to have intimate spaces to enjoy. And this is my favourite part of the whole garden. Now, the focal point of this courtyard is this magnificent fireplace. It goes up 9 meters. It's actually quite achievable. You could do it with a fire pit at home. I flanked it either side with forest pansies that were espaliered. They've got this amazing blossom on them, and then they get a lovely purple heart-shaped leaf. You'll notice there's a consistency in the materials from the front and the back as well. But the bevel on this sandstone is much smaller than that at the front, just to make it more practical. This courtyard's also got this amazing copper seat for relaxing, and a pretty nifty herb garden too. I set it over till it's stuck, but I'm not giving up. When you're planning a herb and veggie patch, you need as much sun as you can get, and this one is perfect. But I also put in this wall here to give us a nice green backdrop for our courtyard. It works as a screen as you walk through the house. What I learned, never know. We split our herb and veggie patch up. So herbs are in here, they're nice and close to the kitchen, so they're practical, but there's a larger veggie patch up by the chickens. So next time you're taking a walk around the neighbourhood, having a sticky beak at other people's gardens, don't be put off by the designer ones. Try and take them as a little bit of inspiration to make your garden even better.
Everyone loves a good upcycle on a pallet, and the best thing is you can pick them up for free. So today we're going to be adding a bit of style and class to your wine collection by making a pallet wine rack. The first thing I need to do is strip it apart, and for that I'm just using a pinch bar and a hammer. For this make, we're not using any of the pallet shape. We're just using the pieces, which means you need to be very careful when you're pulling it apart to not split these slats. Now, sometimes these nails can be 3 inches plus, which makes it very difficult to get the slats off. In that case, you'd have to use a reciprocating saw to cut through the nails first, and then they'll just pop off. Pallets come in different sizes, but what we're after here is making a perfect square. So after you've cut all your pieces, you just need to make sure that it's the same measurement from corner to corner. For me, that means I need 4 pieces at 500 and another 4 at 470. Out of 1 pallet, you'll be able to make 1 wine rack, which will hold over a dozen bottles. That's pretty good value. With our pieces cut, we can now screw together our box. Now, one thing you need to make sure, because we're screwing it together on the edges, you want to pre-drill and countersink your holes. That way, when we put the screws in, we'll stop it from splitting. Gorgeous. With our box square, I now need to take the internal measurements corner to corner to create a diagonal cross. And I'll be cutting them on a 45-degree angle using my drop saw. Now, to make this, you don't need a drop saw. You can do all these cuts using a miter box and a handsaw. Just helps that I've got a drop saw. Let's see how it fits. Like that. Beautiful. Now, it's important to note that these angles are cut parallel to each other, which means it's long point to short point on each end, or in layman's terms, the opposite direction. So now I can sit this bit on top. We can see we have a problem. It doesn't go down. The way we resolve that is we do a half lap joint in this timber. So with the piece in position, I can now mark where they're all overlapping and then use a jigsaw to cut it out. And to clean out the joint, I'm just using a chisel to get rid of any excess timber. These diagonal cross sections don't get fixed in place, so you can pull them out if you have to, and that's exactly what I'm doing now because I want to give everything a good sand. With the sanding complete, now I can just put some stain on and we're ready to put this together. I think these are looking fantastic. The last thing to do is to join them together. So with my cleats, I'll sit them on top. And the other good thing about these is I'll cover these big screw heads, and to hold them in place, I'm just using some brads. From an old pallet to a beautiful looking wine rack. And the idea with this is as your wine collection grows, you can build more and screw them together. But for this one, I can go straight to the wine cellar.
Doing the washing? Well, it's not your favourite job around the house, of course, but who doesn't love the smell of fresh, clean laundry. And as for folding this lot, well, it can become a lot less of a chore if you set yourself up a system and have somewhere neat and tidy to store it. The couple who live here, like so many of us, are short on storage. So what they've cleverly done is converted this glass cabinet into a laundry place. So basically, it's a good piece of furniture, but you can see the obvious. Glass fronted means everything inside is on full view, and if it gets messy, well, it's not a really good result. And also, being quite well sealed, this cabinet does tend to cause a humidity problem, because if anything goes in there and it's slightly damp, it just smells a little bit musty. So what I want to do for them is maintain this cabinet, maintain the bones if you like, and just do a few conversions. And hopefully by turning this into a laundry library, you'll pick up a few tips along the way as well. So my plan is to retain the door frames, just remove the glass. Now, if you're planning on doing this, there's a couple of different ways you can go about it. If you think it's siliconed or glued in, you do need to wear safety gear. These panes are just held in with timber beading. But I would recommend you use masking tape. Just pop down a cross on each of the panes. That way, if it does happen to break, the tape will hold it together. Now, with my block and my hammer, I can simply just tap out the glass. There we go. With the glass gone, I've got a couple of options to infill the panels. Now, we want circulation around the linen. That's going to allow everything to breathe. So I could go for fabric or gauze. Chicken wire would work really well. But one thing that is really on trend this year, you're probably seeing it in the shops everywhere, is this rattan. Now, you can actually buy it by the metre from an upholsterer. You can even get it online or from some craft stores. It's easy to work with. Now, the tip is to actually lay it out, make sure it's cut to the right size, and then thoroughly soak it in water. You'll need to let it soak for about an hour. This will soften the rattan and make it flexible and easier to work with. The magic powers of paint. A coat of fresh white will do wonders for this old cabinet. And just to make the paint stick properly, make sure you give it a very light sand first. The rattan's had time to soak, so now it's nice and flexible. So the idea is to lay it on the backs of the doors, and the secret is to just make sure it's lined up along one edge. Grab your staple gun, just tack it down, just a couple of times across. And that will allow you to then go up to the other end and just pull it as tight as you can, and that will ensure that it's nice and rigid. But don't worry too much, because at this stage it's still damp, and as it dries, it actually gets tighter like a drum. The staples are doing the job of holding the rattan securely in place. What this timber trim is for, it's more decorative. Basically, it hides the head of these staples and just neatens things up. So all the way around the edges, just tack it in place with these little brads. And then once everything's on, you can take a sharp blade and just run it around the outside as close as you can to that trim, and you can see all of the excess rattan will cut away. The old glass-fronted cabinet is almost unrecognisable. I absolutely love the rattan. A few simple touches have given it a fresh new look for spring. You're probably thinking, what on earth is she doing by hanging a rail inside a linen cupboard? Trust me, it's a really useful thing. If you've gone to the effort of ironing things like tablecloths and pillowcases, the last thing you want to do is stuff them into a shelf so they get all crushed. So my tip is iron them, fold them neatly, and instead of getting that wire mark from the hanger, just get a little cardboard roll from your paper towel and just pop it underneath. That way it sits over softly and you can hang it until you're ready to use it. This might just be the time to have a bit of a stock take of your linen cupboard and only keep what you really need. Now, my tip for folding towels beautifully, fold them in half and then into thirds. And what that does is it hides away the messy ends. You can fold it in half, and when you stack them up, it looks just like a hotel. Beautiful. In any cupboard, you will always have wasted space, so try and maximise every square inch. These magazine holders are such a brilliant idea. They're metal ones, and having this mesh means air can circulate. And you can see here, by stacking them up, and you can alternate them if you like, it allows you to store your bed linen. I always like to group mine in sets. So here I've got my sheet duvet cover and also my pillowcases. That way, when I'm wanting to make the bed, I can go straight to that pile and everything is neat and tidy and together. And if you don't want to use magazine holders like this, instead of actually stacking all of your linen on top of each other, come up with another idea. You can buy these handy shelves and it keeps everything separated. And if you don't want to put linen on top, you can always use other little bits and pieces as well. This could be where you hold your linen sprays, which makes things smell nice. Also your lint brush. And if you have any spare rattan left over or even some gauze or fly net, you can make your own little pomanders. This one has dried lavender and this one has bay leaves, which is actually really good to keep moths and silverfish away. So if you're short on linen storage at your place, why not rethink things a little? You can upgrade an old cupboard like we have here, or maybe you can just rework one that you've already got. Just think about clever solutions and ideas that work for you. Most of all, you need things to be accessible and easy to care for. I think this is a great little idea for spring, perfect for keeping things fresh and clean.
What to do?
You know, there couldn't be a better time to be growing veggies at home. But what about organic vegetables? Well, let's find out where they come from. Jordan, Lisa, I knew I'd find you guys hard at it.
We are, mate.
Come on,
How
get
are
out of
you?
the way, mate. She's got
always.
work to do.
Plenty to do. Always
What
plenty to
a
do.
beautiful part out here in the northwest of Sydney. Tell me, how did you come up with the name?
The tickler. Yeah, well,
How do you tickle
I'm
a
responsible
worm?
for that one. That's exactly right. In the ground to get in there and have some fun. And organic to me just makes sense. If you're going to be bothered to grow some stuff at home, why use the chemicals?
So where do these all end up? I know you're going to the market.
These ones are going to the market tomorrow. We do a bunch of markets, but we do also sell into shops, retail.
Home gardeners.
That's exactly right.
Brilliant.
We want you guys to be growing this at home.
It's always better when you stay home.
Now, Jordan, this is where it all starts, the seeds. You've got these beautiful little pots. They're great because they're biodegradable, completely break down.
Yep.
Now, soil mix.
Soil mix. So we have our own mixes. We do use two for different things, but this one's got a bit more body to it, a bit more compost. It's got some coir, some sand, some zeolite, and some bone meal and stuff.
So it's quite a light mix.
It is nice.
So would this would be for home gardeners a seed raising mix?
Exactly right.
Okay,
Exactly
beautiful.
right. So we give them a good water first.
Okay.
We want water and contact to the seed for germination, of course.
Yep.
So this is our little secret trick here.
Okay.
So we have our secret weapons. Screwdrivers.
High tech.
And we are all about high tech.
Look at
That's
that.
it.
There's a lot of confusion about the word organic,
Organic, yes.
but you start organic from the seed, from these little tiny critters inside there. There's some cucumbers
That's
for
exactly
you.
right. So they've been saved from an organic plant that's been grown on an organic farm. So it really is, important to us and important to realise that it all does start with the seed. From the very, very start, as you can see.
Little squeeze.
Yeah, a little squeeze and then a second water. Watch out, coming through.
All right.
Beautiful.
Okay.
And then straight into the tunnels.
Right.
Or if it's a hotter time of the year, we don't bother with the tunnels, we just go straight outside.
What have you got to do? Thousands.
Yeah, so that's a very good question because you do run out of space when you're doing this kind of things. But we use these 198 trays, which is a professional way of growing commercially. We do a thing called seed backing. So
Yep.
it basically slips right on top of the tray that we again fill, dib, then we seed,
Right.
water, a nice bit of vermiculite over the top, and then we water again.
Love it. Such a simple system.
Simple. Keep it simple. Yeah, so this is our hardening off area, our shade house. We start off in the tunnels, of course, germinating, then we bring them out here where they get exposed to real sun, wind, toughen them up, as you would say, and get them to a position where they're pulling out of the trays like that. Probably, at the moment, probably a month in there and then a couple out here.
You can't find where you
I
got
can't
that from
find
there,
where
then. So what about fertilising?
So because we are organic, we don't use any slow release or any synthetic. So what is in there is living.
Right.
So we top it up each week. We feed liquidly, and we really adjust the irrigation around that to make sure that it all gets sucked up by the plants.
Of course, you're wholesale here, so you're
Yes.
serving the industry, but the public are buying your stuff from garden centres and the like. I guess for the home gardener, we tend to overwater, underwater. Would that be the main problem?
That's right, and a bit of both. And I always think that a good way to, what we do around here is I like the guys to go to every corner of the nursery, pull them out, do a squeeze, see what it is. So that's all right, it's damp, it's not too wet.
Yep.
But you do want things to dry out, and we don't really want things wet at night time if possible either.
Oh, right, that's a good tip.
Yeah, good tip.
Now, I notice you've got a lot of flower coming in here, poppies,
Yes.
pansies, marigolds.
Love them.
The companions.
Correct. Some chamomile there, some calendulas and the poppies. Obviously, most of them edible as well, but great for the bees and beneficial insects in the garden. Important to have them flowering leading into spring, so you've got your pollination for your cukes and zooks and things like that.
Yep.
I think one of the things is also staging your planting, so that you're not, growing everything from seed at once or filling it all up and then being empty again.
If you go to a farmer's market and you get half a dozen of those.
That's right. Again, continuing doing that every couple of weeks, and they've got, they're loving it.
I'm loving this. Okay, in the garden, when you're starting with top quality seed and you want to continue that process, so you want 100% biodegradable and organic container that's going to be easy to use for you and the kids and also help your soil and help the plants. And basically, you just fill them up with a bit of soil and then you just pop the seeds in. The great thing is, you pop the whole thing in the garden, or, in my case, a little salad bowl. You don't need to disturb the roots. When you disturb the roots, the plants get upset. And when the peat starts to break down, the roots go straight through and it improves your soil. Okay, that's the kale in. And I'll pop in some beetroot, bit of colour, some nasturtiums, and some pansies. Well, they'll go right the way through till the end of the year. They all last a long time. When you start out looking for organic seeds or seedlings and you're growing them in an organic container and planting them out looking fantastic, you need to keep feeding them organically. And that way you know you and your family are getting the freshest, tastiest organic vegetables you could actually grow.
There are times when all of us get a few problems around the house. We might have a dripping tap or something leaking. Well, I'm down to the local plumbing supply store. In we go. But what's plumbing got to do with solving a veterinary problem? Everything. If you've got something that leaks, you need to fix it. So let's find out more from Mel and Chris. Well, I've come to the right place.
You have.
And how appropriate, because I got a little note from you about your two dogs.
Yes. Audrey and Oscar.
And they just sort of don't quite do what you would like them to do.
Yeah, they have little accidents, little weak moments.
All right, I need one of you to come home with me. Perhaps we go to design a P-trap to fix your problem. Audrey's the little girl.
Oscar.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. How are you? You good? Hello.
Oscar.
Hello. You cute? Good boy. Are you?
You can have the loud one.
Oh, look at you. Aren't you? Big, long, pink tongue. All right, we got the two culprits. So let's
See who
see
goes
what they get
first.
up to.
Oscar. There he goes.
Oh, boy. Oscar, very bad manners. So your first dog was Audrey, wasn't it? You got her?
Yes.
OK. No problems?
No.
She was the model dog.
Well, she was older, so she was toilet trained.
When did it all start?
Oscar came to the picture, and then it's since then. Who did this? Oscar, did you do this? He has accidents, So then she feels, I think, that she can do it too.
Did you do wheeze? Did you do wheeze?
And it's number ones and number twos.
Oscar, Audrey.
Okay. Wow. No need to inhale. The evidence is right there in front of me. They come back to an area which smells.
Yes, just there.
Because you've got carpet. And although I can't really smell much at all,
They can.
they can. They're so good. What have you done yourself to try and sort the problem out?
I have kept an eye on them. When they're sniffing around, take them straight outside. I've bought spray. We give them a smack on the bottom, say naughty. Then we take them back outside and say, now do wheeze.
Yep.
Good boy, Oscar.
So before we go any further, I'd like to have a closer look at each dog. Let me have a look at the front end of you. Eh? Good girl. Good girl. Oh, yes, you're a vet, because Mummy doesn't do that to me. No, she doesn't. Well, everything's pretty normal in that department. I was going to swap dogs. Swap. Oh. OK. Boy, aren't you? Oh, I know. Yes, I know. You give Dr. Harry pictures. I guess you had him looked at by your local vet. Was there any sort of any urinary tract infection or anything like that? OK, all right. Well, an external examination is normal, right? Everything is as it should be. I believe this is simply an educational process for you and for Chris. It's a training program where the young dog, we've got to toilet train. We get him right, she will follow suit.
Yep.
OK. I found this in your garage, and really good. So when the dogs come inside, if you can watch them and they want to run around the place, then that's fine for maybe 5 or 10 minutes.
Yep.
OK? But after that, they go in here. And you can't control it when the whole house is open slather. Now, in my hand, I've got a bit of artificial grass. It's rubber-backed, OK? I'm going to put this down in one area over there. And what you've got to put on it is a little bit of urine from another dog. You have to get a saucepan and a friend with the dog, preferably a male dog because they're easier, right? You just need a few drops, half a teaspoon on that, and we call that seeding it, OK? So there's a smell there. What do you think's going to happen?
They're going to go to the toilet on there.
Exactly right. You'll notice I've put a carpet square on top of the other patch, and that will stop them going back into that one particular area again. That's important. So, having got that little grass thing to work, what do you gradually do? You move this closer and closer and closer and closer to the door till finally you have a little doggy door installed for me.
OK.
Now, what happens if we make a mistake? If you find an accident in the process of happening, that's when you react.
Yes.
You bite.
Up in your hand.
And you whip the dog up and outside. And you just exercise patience.
Yes.
And you wait until finally it happens. When it happens, you make a great fuss. A reward for the dog. He's only a puppy.
Yep.
Puppies go to water all the time.
Yep.
This is for you, to remind you of what we've got to do in this situation. This has become a problem because you've got two dogs, one of which wants to, of course, trump the other. So you are in charge of the deck. Given time, I reckon you can beat this. I mean, if you get bored, you can always have a game of patience, can't you? On that note, I'm out the door.
Thank
Catch you later.